Now, live from Rogers, Arkansas, watching the Ozark skies from Walton and Walnut to Vanderbilt and the Fort. Here's the whiz of Oz weather, Garrett Lewis.
Severe thunderstorm warnings up for central Benton County. Been watching the storm. There has been rotation on it. I just want to go right to radar and show you guys what's going on here. So what I've been watching with this storm as it moved across the Oklahoma state line into Arkansas, you can see the spin on this thing. It really hasn't tightened up enough for the Weather Service to pull the trigger on a tornado warning. It did just issue a new severe thunderstorm warning, though. This is going to be a severe warning for North Benton County. It includes just north of Fayetteville. You can see it populating on the map there in that the yellow polygon there. But that area to watch is really where that red and green are wrapped up. You can see what it looks like on reflectivity here. Let's pull this one up for you guys. Just south of Elm Spring. It looks nasty. I mean, at first glance, when you just look at this thing, you think that's a supercell and that's rotation. Well, you're right on those accounts, but there's no tornado within this, at least not right now. Thank goodness, right? But this area is a place to watch right here near Town and Elm Springs. Right there is where I'd keep a real close eye on it. And this is going to track northeast up to Lowell and North Springdale, southeast Cave Springs in that area. So this is something to watch right here near Elm Springs. Let's get in a little bit more on this. Look back at velocity. The tightest couplet there is just south of 412. That's west of Steele. Time now is 1:03 in the morning. So this is a new severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect. This one goes for 42 minutes. Now they only issued it on quarter size hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. Let me see if they tagged this toward possible. They actually took off the tornado possible risk on this. They had it on there earlier. What this thing is doing is wrapping up, but it's elevated, and elevated storms just have a difficult time making it down to the surface. Do they? Absolutely. I mean, some of them, especially in air masses like this that are modifying overnight with the low level jet and all that warm air advection and everything coming up from the south to the north. Sure, I mean, you can get a surface based storm to evolve back and forth in there. But as the storm moves north, it's going to move over that warm front and eventually go more elevated. So that's what's happening now. This is that pocket of rotation. Let's go ahead and look at rain and hail first. And let's just start with a wide view and give you guys a good look at what's happening out there now. So this is the big setup here. We've got the showers and storms tracking from the southwest to the northeast. Notice Fort Smith, we have some to the west of us. That's going to be moving in here later this evening. But the tornado and the severe threat does taper off the more south and southeast you go. So it actually gets a little bit better with time. I do think these repeated rounds of storms, though, guys, they're going to be possible. I know. Right into the overnight, into tomorrow. Showers and storms ongoing and stalled out. That leads to some of that heavier rainfall. Now, what I've been curious about with that storm, let me go to analyst here. That one that would help if I pulled it up, right? Let's back out. Right in here. What's interesting about this is the overall shape of it does seem to suggest that there's a lot of supercellular characteristics, meaning the hail would be biggest here from Cave Springs, Elm Springs, just west of Lowell and southeast of Heifel. Let's see here. Oh, that's a pretty good spinning going on. Let's see what the last frame look like there. Huh. Oh, that's right there. It's over. It popped up a little skip there. Let's see here. Yeah, there's something there to keep a very close eye on in West Springdale, southwest of Elm Springs, and near the Town area. Should this thing do anything, guys, it would be right around JB Hunt where this thing moved over here, with the strongest winds and potentially some hail. So this is one to watch. Let's see how this looks over time. Elevated nature of it really makes it tough for these things to really stay together. But there is some rotation here that is on. I guess we'd call it right along 412, running east and west. Here's a wider view of the storms that are moving through. There's another look at the warning area too. So we're talking Rogers, Bentonville, but really that area between Rogers and Springdale. So um, I think Cave Springs and Lowell probably gets it worse than anybody. Maximum estimated hail size on this is running just over quarter size. Heaviest there west of Elm Springs. Of course, that correlates with some of these other parameters here. You can see right in there, that's upwards of about quarter size hail. And again, that's tracking towards the east. So expect the hail risk from, let's just call it south of Heifel along 264 out through Beau Chalet, the Creeks RV Park, out there towards Spring Ridge, Camelot, north side of Elm Springs over by the Lake Estates there, north of Huron Crest. Some of the hail and heavy rain right now are, let's see here, the heaviest would be moving over Otter Creek and Lakewood, Weatherton, Brentwood, Ridgewood, Cross Creek, Osage House. Actually, it's east of that. It's more towards Liberty Bell right now, as well as Ridgecrest Meadows, Montreux, Bellevue, Silo Falls, Lexington. That's over there by the ASP. So basically, coming right down 264 is what it looks like right now with these storms. Let me zoom out a little more. I think the hail core is a little more pronounced here, though, northwest of Elm Springs. But keep in mind that is going to be tracking northeast, so you're going to get that over Cave Springs and Lowell, and probably most of South Rogers too, as this thing starts to move through with some pretty chunky hail that makes its way into the area. So keep that in mind as it moves through. There is a little bit of stronger rotation near Tawnytown. We'll see what the Weather Service elects to do on this thing. Um, it seems like we always get this stuff at 1 in the morning, doesn't it? Goodness gracious. Well, this is a strong one though. A very strong storm that's out there. Been following. Let's see if I can pull this up here. Let's see here. There we go. So this is my friend David Latanzio. That's out there looking west in southwest Rogers. We've got some heavy rain, probably got some hail bouncing around as well. Imagine he's got some. Oh, look at that lightning! My goodness, it's just hard to tell at night. Although if you're under the hail, you guys can hear this stuff. I mean, it's. I was telling my wife earlier before I jumped on the air here. I was like, the worst thing in the world for me is to be in hail. I hate it. It's so loud, and in your car when it's hailing too, it feels like someone's just beating the crap out of the hood with a bat. Um, it's awful. Hail's no fun at all, and it looks like we have that hail that's ongoing right now out towards Cave Springs, Elm Springs, and Tawnytown. So I do see this has come up though with wind speeds here. I don't really like how that looks. I think that this is wrapping up a little bit more here north of Tawnytown. You guys in Tawnytown need to keep an eye on this, as well as Elm Springs, Bethel Heights, Springdale, and Lowell. A little more specifically, I'll show you that's the wide view there. The severe thunderstorm warning is what's in effect right now. I'm most concerned about. There's a new scan here, so let's see what this thing looks like. It's this area here near Oak Grove and Tawnytown. This is right over Lake Elmdale, is where I'm watching. Let me show you on this map here. It looks a little different. So this is the area I'm watching here on this north side, right around Elm Springs. That's northwest of Johnson. So it's essentially right over Lake Elmdale, tracking northeast. So the 612 bypass that they've started halfway finished. It's going to go to the airport eventually, but you can see it there just south of the 612 bypass where that red and green are touching near Oak Grove and Elm Springs. Specifically, that's going to be along Brush Creek. That looks like Nichols Road, and then West Gibbs Road on in the Elm Springs area. So that's what's happening with this storm. New sweep through it, not much change there. I still see the tightest rotation right in here. Again, no, there's no tornado warnings, just so you know. The severe thunderstorm warning is in effect still, though, and that's a lot because of not only the wind, but the hail that's within this storm, too. You've got some really chunky hail. Loop this for you here. Certainly does seem like the outbound winds have come up, though, on that, which means the tornado threat's a little higher than it was earlier. Again, it would be right in here. It wouldn't surprise me if they did pull the trigger on this thing, just based on how it looks right now. maximum estimated hail size here. Looking at this pixel, I'm seeing just over quarter size, right at quarter size hail. Pretty wide area of hail too. It starts just right around X and A, goes over to Bethel Heights, down through Springdale and Tawnytown. So there's quite a bit of hail in the north part of this storm, mostly the Cave Springs, Lowell area. That includes you guys out in Rogers though, so you're gonna have this thing move through Rogers too. But it's that area near Tawnytown, especially right in there, that I think has that a little bit of an enhanced rotational risk. Let's see here. Yeah, yeah, right here. You can see if I just isolate it, it's right there over Harbor High on the north side out towards Huron Crest. So south of Camelot there, and just northeast of Mama Z's, right in here is where that area is not only the gustiest, but also has a little bit of a tornado potential. So let's keep an eye on this one as it moves northeast. Hopefully it becomes more elevated with time. But yeah, there's something spinning there. Backing out across the region, the storm west of Fort Smith, it's not severe. Russellville, Clarksville, nothing going on. Mena, Waldron, no big deal. Tulsa looks chill. There are some storms west of Sallisaw moving in. Those are not severe. The strongest and most severe storm right now is the one that's over Tawnytown. It's the one that's had this rotational couplet on it here for the last couple of scans. And man, we're just hoping it falls off here soon so we don't have to deal with any of that stuff. Let's see what's going on here from northbound on Sunset in Springdale. There's a live look with the RDOT cam, and that's looking northbound. So that means like Sam's like on the left, and you got what Holiday Inn on the right. I don't see much there. I mean, it's not that impressive. You can certainly get more information there from the radar data. You would for a tornado, you'd want to see like that blue that's really dark there on the right side out towards Springdale, matched with the bright green, whitish color south of Elm Springs. If those two were kissing, we'd have big problems because that's usually when that thing's wrapped up. One of the ways that we can check too, though, is we can look at this and then we look at reflectivity, right? So we can say, okay, it would be rain wrapped, it would be located right there, and then we go to correlation coefficient. I know there's Final Jeopardy too, and we'd look for some kind of debris difference here in size. It would look like a big green blob, or sorry, green. It would look like a blue blob on there, kind of like that little blue pixel there. Only it'd be a lot bigger. That would be debris. So that's how we know if the tornado's on the ground. So judging by the last scans that went through, there's no tornado on the ground here, and it looks like it's in it's in decent shape for right now. Pretty good storm though that's moving through, but nothing that indicates, at least for now, it's close. So I mean, that thing's pretty tight right there around Elm Springs. Got a couple different radar images in front of me here. I mean, it's close, guys. It's more of a wind risk. I think on this next update, it's coming through here in about the next couple seconds. Let's see what it looks like. I mean, it's right there. It's like right there. Huh. So I wouldn't be surprised here if something gets issued on this thing now. Show you what I'm talking about here. There you go. All right, so we have a tornado warning now. This is for Benton County. It was that last scan that, if you guys have been watching me, that showed what has transpired here. So it's I've got it on radar. You guys saw the update with me here. So this is a tornado warning here in Benton County. That is for this area here where this green and blue is touching. So who does that include? That's you guys in Elm Springs and Bethel Heights. That's you guys in Spring Hill, in Stonecrest, in Belmont Estates, out towards JB Hunt. You need to move to your safe place now in this area that's in and along I-49 here out towards Bethel Heights. So just east of the Elm Springs area, that's out towards Pinewood. Again, this is a tornado warning that is now in effect here, right across central Benton County and southern Benton County and northern Washington County. Let me go to an image here. That's going to be looking out there towards where are we looking there? That's going to be Wagon Wheel. So not much to actually see on that one. I'll go back to radar. Let's just stick with radar just because that's where you can tell where the tornado's threat's the highest. And guys, if you've been watching this thing all along. Actually, I say that. Let me go back to analyst. I just saw that scan. I didn't like how that looked at all. Let's see here. So this is Spring Hill and Stonecrest, guys. The rotation's right over you guys, west of Bethel Heights. It's right on top of you. Let me look at correlation coefficient. Let's see. We don't have any debris on radar right now. Of course, the radar beam is up about 5,000 feet above the surface here. But if there was something to fall out, here's where it would be. It would be northeast of Elm Springs, west of Bethel Heights. As of now, it's on the east side of the interstate. The strongest winds are right there. So you have outbound winds out towards Bethel Heights, the Van Zant Fruit Farm, and then running north up through Lowell and Cambridge Place. This is southeast of Arkansas State Police, so it's closer to JB Hunt. In the JB Hunt area, it's basically if you were looking south, you'd be looking right at this thing as it moves through. So this is moving. In fact, I think we've got that. We can pull the Monroe camera. Let's see here. There you go. That's a live look looking towards where that is located right now. And again, you not much you can actually see. That's south though. That's actually looking right towards where the rotation is passed over. This is it again here near Spring Hill and Stonecrest. Let me go back to the other radar source here and let's get it on street level. Let you guys know where it is. So we're talking North Stoltz Road. The rotation couplet's really high here on Wagon Wheel on Robbins. This is Wagon Wheel and 264 running east. That comes up through you guys out towards West Graham Road, Chief Truman Brewer Street. The tornado warning here for Highland Road, for North Thompson Road. That's the ones running north and south here, or 71B as it turns into. Guys, this is moving north. This is going to come up towards East Apple Blossom. You need to take shelter in the Apple Blossom area as well as South Bloomington. That's the south part of Lowell that you need to watch out for. Sunrise Drive out towards Moody. That's on the east side of the interstate. Again, this is a tornado warning, which is in effect here for northern Washington and also southern Benton County. You can see where it is, though. The red flashing box here shows you where that would be. So I want to go back. I want to keep checking for debris just because that's going to tell us how bad this thing is and if it is even bad, right? So far, there's nothing on radar that suggests that we have debris in the radar beam. It would be right here in the middle, so it would be north of Bethel Heights right now. I don't see anything right now that looks like there's debris in the beam, so far so good. Let's go back to the radar here and look at these wind speeds again. The highest here is out towards Silent Grove. Again, that's east of Spring Creek. So if we were to see a tornado, I think it would be here along Wagon Road, Chief Truman, Brewer Street, West Apple Blossom, and then South Bloomington as it tracks northeast. That's going to eventually put this thing out towards the downtown Rogers area in due time as it moves north and northeastward. Here's how it's evolved here over the last 30 minutes or so. I was talking to my wife. I said, "Hey, I think this one's probably going to do something and wake the kids up if it gets over us." So here we are at 1:20 in the morning and dealing with this thing. But sure enough, we do have a couplet that's strong enough to produce a tornado here on radar east of 49, southeast of the 612 bypass. Mostly due south of JB Hunt, that's tracking northeast. That's going to go towards the south side of downtown Rogers, out towards Frisco, eventually Beaver Lake. But again, that's where it is. That couplet's gone now. Do you guys see the latest scan? Watch what happens here. Watch how it brightens and then weakens as it moves through. It's right, boom, and then gone. So it was a bright couplet. They're going to let this tornado warning ride, and they should because of the history of this storm. But it does look like it was on about two or three scans and then came down. So I think we have a little bit of something positive to look at here with this storm. But still, definitely looking at that rotation now passing right in here near Accident and East Apple Blossom. That's going to be moving over North Thompson. So this is the south part of Lowell. So here's Lowell. So here's 264 just to get you oriented here. So there's Bloomington. So the Starbucks is like right here in the middle. And then you got the gas station on the other side. Then you got the park over here where the kids are doing all the golf. So you're looking at it basically right around Bloomington and 265 on the south part of Lowell, tracking northeast. This is going over post office out in Lowell, and then moving over the park out towards uh, Old Wire, McClure Avenue, and then getting out towards North Oak Street. That's east side of Lowell is where that rotation's moving. Now, I know you guys are getting the rain and the lightning and thunder and everything else everywhere. I know, I can tell. I can see these cameras. There's nothing going on. You can tell it's heavy rain. But the tornado threat would be in this particular area. It's a new scan. It doesn't show me anything different. It shows me the rotation is moving essentially along and north of 264. I'm seeing it here right at 264 and 265. So what does that mean? Well, that means wagon wheel and crossover, right? Old wire and wagon wheel. So that's what we're looking at it right now. Old wire and wagon wheel moving northeast towards Frisco. That's going to be close to Phillips Road, moving northeastward and eventually out towards the White River, getting up towards Frisco Church Road and Frisco Springs Road. Again, that's moving northeast. So big wide view of this again. So here's what's happening. This front is stalled out, and we've had a supercell that developed along the front. It moved east, and this thing it collected some speed, got some spin, spit out some hail. Really, if you look at the big picture, the only severe warning and only tornado warning are the ones right here in Benton County. Outside of that, nothing else going on in Oklahoma. So as far as warnings or warnings go, there are some watches that are out there. This is a look, a zoomed in look at where it is. You guys in the western part of the county are in the clear from this thing. Really, from the west side of 49, you're in good shape. East side of 49 is where we get into the trouble, though. So we'll stop the radar here. There's the supercell. There's the red. You can see the flashing polygon, which indicates where that warning is. Hey, by the way, we got more behind this. But the stuff behind it's not severe, at least not right now. The stuff over us definitely is. So I'm seeing the rotation now out there over Montanay shores, and that's just by looking at reflectivity. But if we just take all that out, and we just say, where's the wind? Here's what the wind looks like, and I'm seeing the same thing here. So it's on the east side of Lowell. That's going to put it out towards South Old Wire Road, the subdivision out there near Pineapple Avenue and Pepperwood Avenue and Harvest Avenue. If I zoom out here, we just got a new update. I don't see, if anything, it weakened, so that's great. It looks like it gusted out. Let's look at it again. Yeah, it's weakened quite a bit. Love that. And here's the sirens outside the house. It's weakened a lot, guys. Look at the reds and the greens. Watch it. See that brightness faded on it? So the rotation's come down on that quite a bit compared to where it was earlier. Thank goodness, right? So it's moving out towards Beaver Lake. And y'all aren't the only ones that use these old Razorback cups to put your water in at night. They're great, for football games, right? All right, so there's the tornado warning. Let's go back to reflectivity. There's another wide view of it. So if there was a tornado, it is not over downtown Rogers. It's not over Lowell. It's not over Elm Springs. It's east of Lowell, out towards Montanay and Oak Grove. So that's where this thing is really spinning the most right now. So that's going to be out towards Oak Grove, Clear Point, Beaver Shores, Lakewood Hills, and War Eagle. That's where this is headed. Now, this thing is not as wrapped up as it was earlier. So, and hopefully it stays that way. We'd love to see it stay that way. But there were a couple of radar scans there where this thing did wrap up quite a bit. And that was essentially right there on Wagon Wheel and 49. You know where that exit is there? You got the big gravel pit there on the west side. Right in there is where that thing really wrapped up the most. And then it kind of decoupled as it moved east. Now, the Weather Service has got the warning on this thing for another 21 minutes on the severe thunderstorm warning and the tornado warning. Now, they've tagged the tornado observed, though. So it may have been, let's just look at this real quick. They tagged it as observed, saying broadcast media saw it. So we'll see what was reported out of that. Could have been a storm spotter that was out there that called it in, or maybe one of the cameras out there caught something on camera. But there may have been something earlier from when this was issued. Now, again, that would have been out towards Tawnytown, guys. So north side of Tawnytown, coming up through Tawnytown, you can see where it was. Watch it again here. Right there. You see it move from Tawnytown through Oak Grove and then Silent Grove and then Bethel Heights, right through there. So I think if something did touch the ground, it would have been probably right around here in the Wagon Wheel area, County Line, Elm Springs, somewhere in this vicinity. 'Cause that's where the tightest couplet rolled over. As it stands now, though, there it is. See it moving northeast? It's decoupled now. I don't think the tornado threat's nearly as high as it was just 10 or 15 minutes ago, really. But they have still issued the warning. They've trimmed it back now. You can see the Weather Service has trimmed it back. Does not include Cave Springs anymore. It does not include Bentonville. It does include southeast Rogers, Montenay, but I really think the tornado threat is right in here, guys. So this is mostly East Lowell, Pleasure Heights, west of War Eagle, tracking north and northeast. So another scan there still shows us where that's the strongest. Let me go back here. We'll go back over to radar and look at this a little closer. Wide view, first of all. So let's get oriented on where we are and what's happening. We'll loop this thing. There you go. You can see it. Supercell had nice little indentation. Notice it jogged to the north. As it lifted north, that also tells me, too, that it's also um, morphing more into an elevated storm, which tells me the tornado threat's going to go down, the hail threat's going to come up. So I think as this lifts a little more north, it was a good thing. When it turned due east like that, it was no bueno. That's when it ingested that low level spin, that helicity, and that's when we got it wrapped up for a little bit out there towards Town. So we'll see if the Weather Service actually goes out there and finds anything when they do any damage surveys out there. And it would be somewhere in the Town vicinity on 412 and Wagon Wheel. That's where the brief touchdown would have happened, should it have happened. I didn't see anything at first glance, though. Let's just step back through it since we've got the time. So here's where it was like we were watching it, remember, and we are like, okay, let's see what happens here. And then it started touching here, essentially right over the interstate, and then moved over Stonecrest and Spring Hill. There it is again, and then it kind of fell off. So I think if we had anything, it would be right in here. And if we look at the correlation, the debris, hmm, don't see anything. How about that right there? See this little drop off right here? That could be interesting. It's post storm though. I don't know. I didn't see anything that looked like a tornado was on the ground, but I guess we'll see, right? When the Weather Service comes out and takes a look at it. They did tag it tornado observed though, so actually they didn't. As of about a minute ago, they canceled it, so it's no more. So they've canceled it, but they kept the severe thunderstorm watch in effect till 3 a.m. So good news, they canceled the tornado warning. And we know why, because we've been following it. We can tell that it decoupled and the winds just aren't wrapped up anymore. There's still some strong winds, though. There's still severe thunderstorm warning. You're still going to get winds here 40, 50, even 60 miles an hour in some of these darker blue pixels here out towards War Eagle. And there's still at least a limited tornado threat here on the north side. This is a new one, actually, because remember the original one's right there. Eh, I don't know if I that's kind of a stretch. There's something trying to do something here, but it doesn't match up with radar at all. We know the storm's becoming elevated, so the overall trend just doesn't really line up. Let's go back here. Let's look at this again with wind speeds. It gusted out, y'all. That's not gonna do anything. That's toast, which is fine. Let's see if they got this one. Wide again. Man, y'all watching East Rogers. We've had a hell of a couple years, haven't we? It seems like every time we turn around, we've got a tornado warning in Rogers, and here we are again dealing with it again. The good news is this one is not does not look anything like the big one that we had last May, um, or the one we had this fall, or the one we had in 2019. This one's not wrapped up right now, even though you're still hearing those sirens out there, and no doubt a lot concerned. I mean, give me a break, right? If you got hit by that thing last year, how could you not be? Um, I'm still seeing that thing move northeast, but it doesn't look like downtown Rogers is anywhere close to this as far as the tornado risk goes. I know you're still in the polygon, but I'm just telling you when I'm looking at the velocity images here that show the radar where the winds are spinning, it's just not spinning there anymore. So it's east of there. It's more towards Highway 12, Clear Point, War Eagle, and even then, it's not really wrapped up anything like it was just a bit ago. There's a little bit more there. See this little red and green? Let's see what's going on there. Cool. So this one's trying to do something out to the west. We'll see what holds on. There's not a warning on that that's coming into Siloam Springs, although you guys are going to hear a lot of thunder with it moving through. Another wide view here. Let's see what's going on. Let's start wide and let's get more narrow here. Big supercell. Boy, that thing really stood out, didn't it? That line should fill in later tonight. Severe threat's going to keep going on. This was that 2 a.m. round. We got here about an hour early. The next one around 5, maybe it gets here about 4 then, right? Well, it's going to be a lot of rain. Watch out for flooding, y'all. Let's see here. Let's go back into Benton County. So now you got a look at what it looks like. Got that storm out towards Vian and Gore. Let's just glance at it. Not much rotation in it. There's something here, but it's very, very broad. And then we get back into this supercell storm here. Look at these things lined up, man, one after another. Boom, 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 boom. I knew that thing was going to tornado, though. You could tell when it crossed over Silent Springs. Watch this thing right there. That's hooking out, isn't it? You can see the hook on it. And now look how it's long. Look how it's longer. So it goes from this little hook to more of a long. The radar presentation's totally changed. Tornado threat's way, way down on it. But it was hooked up there, and I wouldn't be surprised. The Weather Service comes out and says, you know what? There's probably a tornado somewhere around Wagon Wheel, 412, East Tawnytown, Elm Springs, somewhere in there. There probably was a brief touchdown. It was wrapped up pretty good. Man, wild year. All right, so here's where we are now with that warning. That warning's tracking east. I want to get another full view of Benton County here. So here's where we are. You can see Sulphur Springs, Southwest City, still dealing with rainfall. A little bit of a let up out towards Gravette compared to earlier, but along and south of the Bella Vista bypass is where you get into the heavy rain. That's Centerton. We're still under severe thunderstorm warning, about 13 more minutes. Bentonville, Little Flock. I'm seeing some of the heaviest around Prairie Creek right now. This is heavy rain with some hail. That's also near Lakeland Hills. That's tracking northeastward towards Eureka Springs and dropping back south. It's not much in Fayetteville. You guys are like, what's going on? It's not even that bad. Well, get ready because this blob out here to the south is going to move through later tonight. It's also going to pose a severe risk. But I think the tornado threat that you guys have been seeing here tonight, and here's a new scan with it, it's going to be similar to where, yeah, there's a chance, but it's real quick. It's not something that's going to stay on the ground for like an hour, like what they've had out in East Arkansas earlier this year. This is something that the conditions may be favorable for maybe 30 minutes, maybe 10, maybe 5. And in that time, there could be a brief touchdown. And then we're going to go back to this elevated mode of the storm, which is what we're seeing now, which is more hail risk as well as heavy rain and lightning, and potentially some damaging winds too, especially when you're dealing with a storm that's kind of a morph like this. It's more of a hybrid going from a surface-based storm to an elevated storm as it transitions. That means the base of the updraft is not inhaling that rich air down at the surface. It's a little bit higher up, and when it's higher up, it just doesn't have as much to work with for tornadoes and damaging winds. But man, this thing, man, it came through. Right there. I mean, yeah, it definitely had. It was tight enough for a time being there that it could very well have touched down and put a quick tornado down here. But it looks like the worst is over with here with the tornado here in at least the tornado threat, even though we're still under the warning here on Highway 12. That being said, man, it's raining like crazy right now on Walton Boulevard and right towards exit 85. Although the last scan did move it a little more north. Got it right over downtown Rogers. Some very, very heavy rain in this area around East Oak Street. Let's see here. I was trying to find you guys a camera to see this a little bit more clearly. No, somebody's crashed. They can't help but crash. This is on 49. Think this is the exit that's out there. It's somewhere around Embassy, Mercy, Walton, looking south, kind of in that area. I can't even tell what happened. Just looks like emergency people are there. But when you get this much rainfall, especially when you get it coming down like it's coming down now in East Rogers, it's really easy to hydroplane on the road, especially if you haven't had your tires checked in a while. It's there's a lot of standing water, and when it hasn't rained in a long time too, some of that tar oils they start to seep up, and you get that first rain when it hasn't rained in a while, and then oftentimes you get more accidents too, especially with it's mostly with bald tires more than anything else. I did find a southbound cam here. This is from just north of Mercy. It doesn't look that impressive at all. Car's still moving here, and that's good news. And that's what it looks like. Let's go back over to radar. Still have it over downtown Rogers, it looks like. Heavy wind and rain moving through Rogers. Let me look here. Yeah, from Walton Boulevard south. it's a lot of heavy rain. I mean, cars are moving slow, but what else is new? It's Northwest Arkansas. They don't move more than 40 miles an hour anyway most days, and that's even being generous considering some of the traffic that we have. But it does look like at least East Rogers, again, going back to a wide view, and the tornado warning is completely gone now. So the Weather Service did cancel the whole thing. Let's let this scan go back through before I start jabbing my jaw here. Still painting some of this heavy stuff out over the east side of Rogers. Again, this is right over the Rogers Airport. It's going to be interesting to see how much rain we actually pick up at the airport from all this. So that's going to be on the northwest side of North Hudson. There's Turtle Creek, and that's I think that's Kelly here, isn't it? No, it's going to be Stratton Road here, and then that runs east out towards Kelly Drive, and then farther south out towards Rolling Oak Drive. So heavy rain here. Nothing rotating. Tornado warning's been canceled. Guys, there's more. You're not going to sleep well tonight if you got kids or dogs. My kids are up. I think the dogs are still up. I don't even think they went to sleep. And we got more rounds of this stuff coming through. There is one to the southwest. That's one that we need to keep an eye on. That's out towards Salisaw. So this one does have a little bit of weak rotation on it as well. That's west of Salisaw towards Tamaha and Bayan. So we'll have to watch this thing as it makes its way northeast and see if it holds on. If it does, it may do the same thing. The environment could be ripe and right just in time for something to rotate before it starts to let up and let off. So that's something to keep an eye on. All right, so I'll keep an eye on this stuff heading into the overnight hours, and let's see what happens here in the next hour or two. I do think the severe threat starts to dial down though as we move into the overnight. Unfortunately, I do think it comes back tomorrow afternoon, and I think you're going to be seeing me again tomorrow afternoon with more storms in the forecast and more rain too. Watch out for that flash flooding as well. Time now is about 1:37 a.m. We'll see what happens into the overnight. Thanks for watching.